Give it up for Micheal Tchong.
My job is to unbox your thinking and make you think creatively. So what is important in innovation? I summarized it for you. How do you fuel it? Well, it's pretty easy, actually. Borrow from the Silicon Valley model, which is what you're doing today at the conference. Think creatively, which we did yesterday afternoon if you were there, right? But more importantly, pay close attention to the customer and trends. And I'm going to take you to the trends today as well as study some successful case studies because that gives you a good feeling for what success is all about because inevitably people will ask you about it. All right, so something absolutely remarkable happened just a few months ago. I don't know if you heard about this, but a woman was kidnapped and she was able to signal for help using her Pizza Hut app. Don't you love that? So next time when they say, you have a hostage crisis, there's an app for that, all right? So this gives you an idea of what is happening in society. In fact, the Wall Street Journal puts it best a few months earlier. The tech cluster has never been a more potent force. It is an agent for social change, political, economic, and all of these things that are happening in society. And these agents of change, of course, provide fantastic opportunities for innovation. Can I show you one photograph that summarizes how much we're changing? One photo? Can I? All right, how about this one? iPhone love. Ay, 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 cariño mío. It's worth crying over. That's how much we are in love with our phones. In fact, the Pew Center just released some stats this week that talked about the fact that 2/3 of us, actually 3/4 of us, look at our phone even when we don't have to, just for the hell of it, huh? I call that screen sucking, for those of you who follow the trend. All right, I'm bored here. Let me look at, hey, I'm going to do some screen sucking. Yeah, and you know, and if you don't have anything to do, you know, of course, the new thing, right? You know the new thing, right? Oh, selfie, the selfie. Oh, nothing better to do. Let's take a selfie with the Pope. That's fun, huh? I love it, I love it, I love it. Yeah, so think about that. How our values have changed, because remember, the selfie was word of the year in 2013. It came on the scene in 2010. It's been with us just a short 4 years, and already it's rocketing, right? And the most famous selfie of all, I'm sure you remember, the Ellen DeGeneres selfie she took at the Oscars, right? Where she had Bradley Cooper take that picture. And in her tweet, which was, of course, the most retweeted tweet ever with 3.4 million retweets, she said, oh, you can't read it, but if only Bradley's arm was longer. If only Bradley's arm, so he could get more people in the picture. So think about that for a moment, because this is February, right, of 2014. By fall, we had the selfie stick. We had more than a half dozen competitors, and here is Obama clowning around with one in February. So that gives you an idea of how fast trends move. The rule here is opportunity can show up at any time, anywhere to disrupt and innovate. And if you can grab it quick and run with it, you can become one of those 6 companies that introduces a selfie stick. And as you can imagine, sales have exploded. Another great story of this year, earlier this year, remember the interview, Sony being hacked? Remember that whole thing, Sony was hacked? And they stole all their company secrets. Well, guess what? They made $31 million of this movie using a completely untested, brand new digital movie channel. A distribution channel that had never been tested before. So that already tells you, oh my goodness, how can they do that? Of course, this is the same company that stored all its passwords in a directory called Password, laughing out loud. How stupid is that? I think Sony should take the advice of this meme and say, I'm going to change all my passwords to incorrect, so whenever I forget, it'll remind me my password is incorrect. A great password strategy, don't you think? All of this is part and parcel of an Uber trend I call the digital lifestyle, the marriage of man and machine. We're becoming the computer, and the computer is becoming us. When you get tired, you crash, and you love to multitask. And because you multitask, you forget more, so you need memory protection. And those are 3 core traits of the CPU, or the central processing unit of a computer. So we are becoming the computer, and the computer is becoming us. An Uber trend is a major movement that cascades through society, leaving many sub-trends in its wake. And if you can detect it, you'll know that that is a good thing to hang your hat on when it comes to business development or new product development, because the difference between an Uber trend and a regular trend is that it changes values in people. We change with the Uber trend. A perfect example of that is there is a scientist in the Netherlands at the University of Maastricht who believes that by 2050 we'll be marrying robots. And Massachusetts will be the first state to allow it. Do you think we'll find robot love? Do you? Do you think? Do you think? No? Huh? Let me give you a piece of advice. Don't knock it until you try it, okay? I mean, it could be good. Could be good. I mean, take a look at this video for a minute. Have you seen this little GIF doing the rounds on the internet? This is a Google-owned company, Boston Dynamics, of course. But when I showed this in a presentation in London in February, I sat next to the CNN reporter afterwards, and he told me that tons of people had called in to complain because it was animal cruelty. What? Animal cruelty? It's a robot. The marriage of man and machine. People don't know the difference anymore. That's crazy, isn't it? Here's one of my favorite new solutions that has just been doing the rounds. Have you seen this? Tesla. Can you believe that? Take a look at how you refuel your car. I know what you're thinking. Ay, Dios mío. I know what you're thinking. Strike that from your mind. The fact of the matter is, look at this. Nearly half of Americans have cut back for food, healthcare, travel, so that they can afford more tech toys. This is serious stuff. This is how much we are in love with technology. And it's a global trend, okay? Everyone is doing it. And they're going to have to save up their money because there's going to be so much more to buy, like the connected crock pot. I know you want one. You've always wanted to have a connected crock pot at home so you can start cooking from the office. Ay, makumisa esto ba. Riba mi telefon. Isn't that awesome? You'd blow everybody away at the office when you do that. Now you're probably going to say, Michael, I have no IT department. I can't manage all this technology at home. Well, just ask the 6-year-old IT specialist you have running around. She knows more about it than you do, as you can tell from this research finding in London. And why not? They're called the digital natives. They grew up with the technology. They take it all for granted. In fact, can you imagine having this at home when you were 2 years old? Huh? I was happy to play with a cardboard box. This is great stuff. So anyway, the thought starter for the digital lifestyle is that it is rewriting the rules of innovation. What people now want is convenience, convergence, multiple services into one. They want innovation brought to them because they need it, and they need to be connected, of course. So that is the lesson. So let's talk a little bit about innovation while I still have time. Innovation, of course, is the driving force today. So I thought I would show you, because one thing that I know your superiors and your management is going to ask you, can you prove it works, my friend? Can you prove it works? You know that. Yes, it does. Let me give you the best example. In 2000, Apple was on the ropes. By 2001, you can't read it, but it had lost $3 billion a year in sales revenue. Decline. $3 billion. And then they introduced the iPod. And then they introduced the iPhone. And then they introduced the iPad. And you can tell what's happening to their growth, right? I mean, this is significant change. In fact, when the Wall Street Journal went and looked at SEC financial documents in 2012, they found that the companies mentioned innovation 33,000 times. And that was up 64% over 5 years earlier. What was 5 years earlier? What was 2007? June 29, 2007, the introduction of the iPhone. That's why everyone suddenly paid attention. And then you got, by 2012, also the iPhone being a bigger business than all of Microsoft. Who would have thunk? That's incredible, isn't it? No wonder you've seen Bill Gates on TV drinking wastewater. The man is trying to commit suicide. I would too if I was him. Starbucks Aruba. I couldn't be any happier. I was at a conference speaking across the street, and boy, I could go up there and pump up 3 times a day. And you know why you need to? You need more energy. Energy is part that keeps you stimulated. That's why they are a $17 billion business. Okay? That's why they have 21,000 stores all over the world and are opening up more every day. I love this Bruin Cafe concept in Amsterdam. So they're matching the decor to the local market taste. Very few people do this. Okay? They were the first people with electronic payments. They were the first people with an app. They were the first people with free Wi-Fi. They were the people in America who pay their employees a stock option plan and their college education. Think about that. Now you know why they're such an incredible success. And do they make money? $5 billion in the third, which is up from the $4.2 billion they made a year ago. So they're growing. Another fantastic example is Domino's. I've been talking since 2009 about this pizza tracker they have. Those of you who have seen me speak before know that I've told all the restaurateurs and hoteliers, you're going to have food order tracking in 10 years. Who wants to be naked when the food arrives? I don't, you don't. I'll be able to look on my iPhone and see, oh, the food arrives in 5 minutes, I better get dressed. By 2010, Domino's said, our pizza sucks, it tastes like cardboard. Can you imagine any corporation saying my product is terrible? We need more people, exactly. We need more people to admit that they need to improve, and we don't have them. They all hide behind lies. Oh, it's so-and-so's fault. Blah, 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 blah. Now you can order a pizza by just tweeting a pizza slice emoji. How cool is that? And that is just part of about 10 innovations Domino's has launched in the past few years. Take a look at this one. This one was just announced a few days ago.
You don't trust my opinion? No, I'll trust my opinion.
Pizza delivery to Saba. How cool is that? You know how the people in Saba and St. Eustatius are wild now. We finally can get pizza. But what it shows you is that the St. Martin store is absorbing the psyche that is being forced down by top management. Think innovatively, and everyone is doing it. That's the message here. And that's what makes it so spectacular. And take a look. Their sales are growing at a 12.5% sales clip, while the whole pizza business as a whole is only growing at 3%. That is evidence that innovation works. Okay? So, I hope I gave you a little bump here today. I hope I stimulated your senses. Those of you who saw me pitch in the PricewaterhouseCoopers, remember there is a huge opportunity here to establish the Salesforce.com of Aruba. Don't let the opportunity pass by. Remember, keep your options open. Remember the immortal words of Robin Williams. I went to rehab in the wine country just to keep my options open. That's the same attitude I want you to take towards innovation, because the major ingredient for innovation is open mind. I have an open mind. Mi nota será para business. And that's what most people are, as you well know. No cambia cosa. No cambia.